Ashe, people. What you just now seen was a little meditation, visualization of the Divine Mother. You asking whether it be Goddess Adi, Goddess of the Heart, Goddess Heru, Goddess Aset, which is the god of Sirius, okay, Goddess Sirius, Saltis Serket, which is one of the goddesses who was found in the tomb of King Tutankhamun, or King Tutankhaten. It's really changed it to King Tutankhamun. Okay, excuse me. And the goddess Nit or Anat, who is the mother of the gods and goddesses. And what it is you just visualize her pouring milk and honey, a mixture of both. Milk and honey represents everything from the creative energies and we'll say the supreme prana, you know, of the universe. The honey represents the substance that manifests and gives rise to manifestations, which i.e. is melanin. Melanin being the reason for all that we see as far as shades and colors and things like that. And there's other things called structures. I ain't getting into all that right now, dealing with pigmentation. But we're dealing with carbonaceous film, which is melanin. And it's intelligent, okay? So that's what that honey, that milk and honey represents. White just means purity, okay? And the honey represents that golden substance, which is the brownish to blackish EU melanin of the universe, which protects you in an earthly reality and existence and living within a shell called the human body to exist under suns or stars. All right. Now, the stars or the suns, when you go outside in the daytime, you have an operation. There's a book called Melanin, the Chemical Key to Greatness. The Chemical Key to Black Greatness, Melanin, by Dr. Carl Barnes, right? Let me get the book. By Dr. Carl or Carol Barnes, okay? And first of all, I want to give thanks, ashes, to all ancestors known and unknown, and all deceased relatives known and unknown. But today is the day that my brother was born, on January the 7th, 1992. I remember it clear as day because I basically watched my mother's water break at the top of the steps. You see what I'm saying? I was about 9, 10 years old. I was 9. And she heard her, I'm pretty sure it was early in the morning, and her water broke, and there it was. And here came Jeremy Jermaine Lewis, his father was Pete or Peter Easley, whose family is from Baltimore, Maryland, which is a, and this is no disrespect to Baltimore. I'm just clarifying my thoughts. It's like a smaller version of Philadelphia, you know what I mean, with the row houses and things like that, okay? And so he was born here, Beckley, West Virginia, but I was born in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, amongst the capital of the row houses. All that come from Europe and all that. That's the European style that they had brought over here when it was first colonizing the East Coast. And today he would have been 24 years old. He made the transition on December 8th, December 9th, whatever you want to say, was that late night, early morning. And it's December 9th, I'm pretty sure, on the obituary, which I'm not going to take down. It's right beside my Uncle Ricky, so I'm not going to take them down. But I have a whole bunch of symbologies on both of the obituaries on how they communicate with me through the numbers and things like that, and through symbologies and shit, because that is how spirit communicates. And the only experience you experience, it's a personal experience. That's why the world is so messed up on believing in such things, because one person's experience of the spirit world might be different from somebody else's. You know, I was not even in tune into the spirit world until about 2007. And then in 2008, I started getting into like conspiracy theories and things like that, and the chemtrails and shit. I was really pissed off about how they were spraying the sky, and that's where it all started, because it was clear as day that they was doing this. Some days they didn't do it. The contrails are not the same as the other trails, and on certain days, especially clear blue sky days when the sun is out, I've seen them, and I have pictures. I've seen them do triangles. I've seen them do crisscrosses. I've seen them do boxes like X's and O's for the game, X's and O's. I've seen them do boxes. I've seen them racing each other, whether they be drones, whether they be pilots, I don't know. But they spraying, I know that. I've seen them create literal lines that go like this, right where the sun is rising out the east, when it is being born out of the lap of its mother, okay, represented by the dark matter energy. But we see it on the earth as the sun sitting on the earth. The earth will be the mother, and it would be the lap of the mother, or the yoni of the mother, and the sun coming up out being born every day. All right, every day, which is life, death, every day. Awakefulness, sleepfulness, awakefulness, sleepfulness, every day, until the sun begins to start its supernova transition, which basically means that it's gonna give itself off completely. It's what it's doing now at 93 million miles away. See what I'm saying? 92 point whatever, 93. It rounds off to 93 million miles away, and the sun is that far away. And it's we live in this orb. You got people out there that believe in the flat earth thing, whatever, but I'm not dealing with that right now. We have this orb with the land, right? The orb represents the atmospheres. There's I think there's either 5 or 7 atmospheres. The ionosphere represents the aspect of what goes on down here on the earth, is reflected in the ionosphere, and basically is recorded up there, and represents another form of the heavenly realm or the astral realm, because you can tap into the ionosphere, and all kind of imprints, i.e. holographic imprints, will be there for you to. It's like you can go there by meditation or whatever. You can go up there and get information about what things look like in 2000 BC and things like that. I'm speaking on a high level right now, okay? So some people ain't gonna get this. This is for, if you don't understand esotericism or esoteric literature and work and the writings of the esotericists, I don't know. You have to study the exoteric and esoteric aspect of religions. That's what you got to do. All the major 3 ones: Muslim, Judaism, Christianity. Study those, and then you have to go to the Dead Sea Scrolls, Gospel of Thomas, the Book of Coming Forth by Day by the ancient Kemites, and the book of the Pert Im Heru text, which were all these scripts were taken right off of the walls of ancient Kemet and placed, and a system was brought about. Just almost as like how they did the Bible, but the Bible was brought about in a dark type of phase, because they did it in a fashion of controlling a bunch of men coming together. You know what I mean? You hardly hear any records of any women being in any of them councils where they decreed so many things, such as Christmas and Jesus and things like that. Council of Nicaea I'm referring to. You never hear about any women. You only hear about Constantine, Augustine, the Caesars, and the Romans, and all that, the Greeks, and not too much about the women. And as far as the Greeks go, you do hear about the women when you're dealing with the Delphi and the oracles and the Black Athena and things like that. But that transition fell. There's a movie called Argo, and the woman in Argo has the knowledge of astrology, and she's presenting it to the priest and everything like that. I can't think of who she's an actress. She's well known and she plays in all kind of stuff. I can't think of what she played in. I'm gonna have to come back to you on that. The movie is called Argo. And when she comes with her findings and things, they basically just knock her off of her pedestal, you know what I'm saying? And they strip her naked at the end, they beat her and things like that, and they basically kick her out of society, you know what I mean? And so that movie Argo, you really have, I'm gonna watch it today, just, you know, that movie you have to really study, because it's dealing with astrology. First of all, the word Argo is short for Argonauts, you know what I mean? And we're dealing with Jason and the Argonauts, all right? Jason, Jason, or Yason, Yason, the father and the son, and the Argo, or the Argonaut, represents the compository or the company of gods and goddesses who are birthed from the divine mother, all right, which she represents in that movie, because and she is like a Sophia, okay, in that movie, a divine Sophia. Check out the movie Argo, okay. Also check out the movie The Fountain with Gene Hackman, who plays Wolverine and X-Men and stuff, and that's very metaphysical, and it has the Aztec thing going on with that, which I was going to talk to you about here in a second. But so, you know, like I say, my brother, rest in peace, in the sense of, you know, may your soul be at ease with all these toils and turmoils of the earth. He died in 2008, and he died right after I started college, my first year of college at Marshall University. And so when he passed away, I don't like to use the word death or die, I'm sorry, die. When he made that transition, right, I had to get up after that, about a week after that. He called me a week before that, talking about he had a court date. But okay, that was the last time I spoke to him. So, I think that was around December the 2nd. We was up here for Thanksgiving and everything like that. And so, that's one of the last videos I got of him too, is Thanksgiving of 2008. But anyway. So, and one of the last things that he wanted to do, he questioned me on, was he wanted to learn about, one day he came to me, it was him and Jordan, him, you know, it's my little cousin, they around the same age, and he was talking about, hey man, what's up with that 666 stuff? I want to know about that. I want to know about the mark of the beast, you know. And then I was on, the level I was on then was the Lucifer thing and the mark of the beast and the putting the chips in you and all that, Alex Jones type stuff. I was all on that, and that's what I was giving him a little bit. And we would get on YouTube, we watched a couple of videos because he had a PlayStation up there, and so, you know, he started getting on that real heavy up there, you know, eating his milk and cookies and shit, you know. But anyway, I need to get off of that. That's my brother. Hold it down. He on the other side. He looks out for me. He looks out for our whole family. He's everywhere all the time. We took a bunch of pictures on my sister's birthday. It was January the 2nd. Her birthday January the 1st. But nobody had any money, so we had to wait to the day after, and we contributed a bunch of food and everything, a cake and everything. We had a good time, and we took a bunch of pictures that we at first did not want to take. You know what I mean? And we took them, and in one of the pictures, it clearly looked like, because the person that was taking the picture was smoking a cigarette. So there's smoke in a couple of the pictures, right? And in one of the pictures, we have angel wings, what looks like some type of spiritual entity. You know what I mean? And it wasn't a split second that I had took that to as my brother. Because it was what my mother wanted, was her and all her children in the picture. He's the only one that's not in the physical reality. Well, he came anyway. You see? So I get one of them pictures, man, I'll probably be able to show you. You know what I'm saying? Let you know how it's going down. Alright, so I'm just doing this for that. Number one, the beginning of the new year is only dealing with your calendar, Gregorian calendar year. The beginning of the year should be started around March 20th to March 22nd. We'll just say March 21st. Spring equinox. Alright, that's when it should begin, because the vegetation and everything is coming back. The reason that it begins on the 1st of January is because it's according to the astrological fact that the sun begins to increase in its days, meaning that there's more light day by day, right, in the evening, and that so the days last longer, or you get more light, you know. So around June, July, it'd be it'll still be daytime at 8:30. You see what I'm saying? In December or in November, October, it gets dark 6:30, 7:30. I mean 5:30. You know what I mean? It get real dark, and then they do that daylight savings time and shit. You know, so for their particular calculations. Now, what I wanted to do real quick is to teach to you from my notes today, because I felt like they were channeled to me real quick. You know what I mean? I have been reading the book by Hilton Hotima called Ancient Sun God. All right, and a lot of things was coming to me because I thought about the God of Israel, which is the sun. And then I was, because we're dealing with Isis, Ra, and El. Ra represented the sun. He represented the life force of the sun, not the orb in its generality. That was the face of the life force, or of the power of the sun, which was known as Heru. And the word Her in ancient Kemet meant face, or we'll just say one of the hieroglyphics for that Her, H-R, was the face. Okay, it was the face. Now, or the head, and they represented Heru, which was actually spelt with that head and then the mouth, right? It had different other spellings too, and it represented everything from the light to the sun and everything like that. Ra represented the sun, but he represented the life energies of it. What brought forth the vegetation in springtime. All right, that brought forth the you got your, you're gonna end up seeing your groundhogs coming out eating leaves and eating plants in your yard and everything like that. You know what I mean? Coming out of their dungeons, coming out of their burrows. Okay, so the sun, or solus in Latin, or soul, right? This is why it reflects to you as your the word soul, S-O-U-L. I consider you to stand for you and me, or the universe. We are all souls or stars of the universe, and we still represent that oneness, because every star is a star. Every sun is a star. Suns are stars, and they have the properties to carry life in their manifestation. Okay, and so going down the line, we're dealing with symbologies that were taken from the ancients, the ancient people of the earth, who has studied astrology, attached it to the workings of the beingness of the one within, which is the I, the beingness, right? The birthing of the soul, the coming to be, who you are, basically. And it was represented as a lotus, right, called Nefertum, right, coming up out of the pond or the lake, right, or the Nile Valley. That was called beauty. Nefer meant beauty, or the beautified one. It was Heru sitting on a lotus or a papyrus plant with his finger to his lips, right? And in the Hindu religion, it is Krishna, right? And Brahma, because out of Vishnu's navel, Brahma sits on a lotus, right? And you see Krishna, you see Vishnu, you see Narada, you see all of them sitting or standing on lotuses. You see what I'm saying? That's symbolic right there. You feel me? Very beautiful, very symbolic. Now, also, what they call today the obelisk, which sits in Washington, D.C. The obelisk also represented that. The coming to be of the soul. Okay? Now, I want to connect this and show you something. That is what is called the Tekanu. It's right behind me, right there. The Tekanu. Okay? On top of the Tekanu sits what is called the Bin. I got so many thoughts coming to my mind right now. It's just crazy, right? The Bin is what is known as the personification of Kep-Ra-Tem on that chart, right? This is the life force of the powers of the sun and the solar rays. The solar rays come in different colors: red, orange, yellow, blue, green, blue, indigo, violet, / purple, right? And this is known as Roy G. Biv. Okay? There's 7 letters, right? The 7 letters represent the 7 energy centers within the, I guess we can say, the ethereal body of the human being, known as the 7 chakras. Okay? Descartes, ancient writer, said that the pineal gland was the seat of the soul. This was before and after scientists and those of the like were saying that the pineal gland didn't even have a function. When they found out that it did have a function, they wanted to defunctionalize it. So what they did is, not only did they see the metaphysical aspects of the Tower of Babel, is this. The Tower of Babel represents your centers, 7 chakras, and then there's an 8th one as well, which has the 2 eyes at the top. Represents your crown, really. Okay? The 7 is wearing the crown of eternity, which is symbolized by the number 8, or the symbol of eternity. Has 2 circles called in ancient Kemet the Shin, or the Shun, which is my rap name, the first part of my rap name, but it's with a U instead of an E. But the Kemites did not use vowels. Okay, this was known as Sebek, and it was the full name called Sebek Bas Ra, which meant the 7 souls of Ra. Okay, which was symbolized as a crocodile. Okay, or a crocodile-headed deity known as Sebek Ashe. Okay, now, okay, these 7 centers also relate to the symbology of Ursa Major and her 7 stars, because Ursa Major at one point, or even till this day, represents the Big Dipper. Okay, that's the Big Dipper. The Big Dipper, the body of it, it represents the thigh from the body of the Divine Mother. All right. So that thigh was symbolized in ancient Kemite. It was called the Adze. Adze is how the scholars spell it, right? Or ones with scholarship spell it. This Adze, which has another, which is a determinative of more hieroglyphic words that I can't get into right now. Would look just like the Big Dipper. Okay, stay with me, please. The Big Dipper is getting bright right there. The Big Dipper, and I call these my seraphim, my cherubim. They're like protectors of the Garden of Eden. They're like angels on the side of me. But anyway, Netters are angels. Okay. What was I talking about? What was I talking about? So the Atz is look just like the Big Dipper, right? Now, when Anubis wanted to open up the deceased's mouth in the other world, or on the other side, right? Anubis or Anpu, who is John in your Bible, excuse me, or Ionis, right? An, he is the baptizer and all that. He is the embalmer. He is the one who, Anpu, he is the mummifier. Jackal-headed, also known as Wateret, right? Now, okay, the symbol of this Atz symbol, which looks like a ladle, okay? Like a ladle when you scoop your spaghetti sauce and things like that, and you pour it on your thing, whatever. Okay, the end of that ladle would represent ancient hieroglyphic symbol for a pot, right? Or a crucible, they call it, in the witch's brew. You know, is what the witches make the witch's brew with. The witch, symbolic with the ancient primordial deity of the goddess. The word witch comes from the word bitch. And the word bitch comes from the word beta, or bet, B-E-T-H in Hebrew. The word bet comes from the word het. ancient Kemite word for Heru composites, which means the house of Horus. Okay, Heru is none other than was worshipped in a place called the Temple of Dendora in ancient Kemet. They reestablished a calendar that they put on the ceiling. You can get this from the book. The book by John Anthony West. It's a traveler's guide to Egypt, is what I think it's called. Let me see if I can find it real quick.